Sleep. This sequence works to clear the mind, calm the nervous system, and prepare for sleep. It uses breath practices that create a meditation object to free the mind from busy or worrisome thoughts that keep us awake. It also uses techniques that balance the hemispheres of the brain, energetically neutralizing the mind and stimulating neurotransmitters that promote deep quality sleep. This short, effortless sequence enables us to wind down, let go, and prepare for a restful, rejuvenating night. There are 5 factors we control that have the greatest impact on our health: how much we sleep, how we breathe, what we eat and drink, how much we exercise, and how we handle stress. Most people give merit to only 2, diet and exercise, and I definitely used to be part of that group. At the age of 18, I started down a path of sleep deprivation. When I was in the Marine Corps, we trained to be able to handle sleep deprivation. During my 6 months in Iraq, I don't think I ever slept more than 4 hours a night. After I left the Marines, I worked for 7 years on an ambulance in an emergency room. I always worked the night shift because it paid more, and at that time, money was more important than sleep. On the nights that I worked, I would either take a short nap before my shift or just stay up all day and night because I also wanted a social life. Sometimes I would follow my 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift with another 12-hour day shift to maximize overtime, and the hospital didn't seem to mind if their healthcare staff worked 24 hours straight without breaks or sleep. In fact, they encouraged it because they were often so short-staffed. Many night workers are sleep-deprived zombies, hyped up on caffeine, and I lived on energy drinks. When I became a firefighter, my normal shift was 2 days on, 4 days off. During the 2 working days, we slept at night unless there were emergencies that we needed to respond to. I often went 48 to 72 hours if I picked up an overtime shift, with little to no sleep because we would be up all night running calls. There is a reason why many firefighters die in their 50s and 60s. Sleeping less than 6 hours a night regularly is a huge detriment to your health and makes you 200% more likely to die of a heart attack or stroke. Although I was physically fit and ate a proper diet, minus the copious amounts of caffeine, I regularly got sick and always had cold sores, which are a sign of a weak immune system. I was young, so I felt I could handle a consistent lack of sleep. I subscribed to the "I'll sleep when I'm dead" motto. Unfortunately, sleep is neither optional nor negotiable. It's a necessary and crucial biological function that supports immune system, brain function, and emotional stability, metabolism and insulin levels, and heart health. Without proper sleep, we are more likely to get sick, develop heart disease and diabetes, and our risk of cancer increases substantially. Lack of sleep also reduces our ability to think and learn. We become more prone to accidents, and our sex drive suffers. The list of adverse effects goes on. Most sleep experts agree that adults need 7 to 9 hours a night, and children even more. On top of getting adequate amounts of sleep, we need good quality sleep. I make sleep a priority and try to get at least 8 hours. I use a device to measure how fast I fall asleep, how much REM and deep sleep I get, my body temperature, and my HRV. By tracking my sleep, I can see how things like diet, exercise, and stress affect the quality and ultimately my health, because sleep and health are so closely related. Here are some things you can do to improve the quality and duration of sleep. Don't have caffeine after 11 a.m. and limit daily caffeine consumption. A single cup of coffee has 100 milligrams of caffeine. You still have about 50 milligrams of caffeine in your system at noon from a 7 a.m. cup. But if you drink 3 cups of coffee in the morning for 300 milligrams, you'll still have 50 milligrams of caffeine flowing through your veins at 8 p.m. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours. The more we consume, the longer it takes for the body to process. Do not eat for at least 4 hours before going to bed. When I eat late, I wake up often throughout the night. Digestion requires a ton of energy and extra blood in our organs. This elevates the heart rate and keeps us restless. Keep a consistent bedtime. Since I am consistently traveling around the world, I often have to battle with jet lag, time zones, and an altered sleep schedule. Dealing with these is difficult, but I have developed a few ways to cope, such as allowing myself a few days to naturally adjust to a time difference before I do something that would require me to wake up early and interrupt my sleep. I never take sleeping medications to try and speed up that period. They are not as helpful as some people think. They are very unhealthy, highly addictive, and result in poor quality sleep. Limit your exposure to blue light after sundown and dim lighting a few hours before bedtime. The blue light emitted from screens and lights can trick your body into thinking it's daytime and make it difficult to fall asleep. There are apps and settings for all of your devices to remove blue light. You can also wear blue blocking glasses after the sun goes down. Overhead lighting also fools the body into thinking it's daytime. Turn off overhead lights and use dim table lights or candles. Exercise in the morning or afternoon. When I work out in the evening, it's harder for me to go to sleep. Working out increases sympathetic tone, heart rate, and body temperature, all things we want to subdue before sleep. It's recommended not to engage in rigorous physical activity for at least 2 hours prior to bedtime. Limit alcohol consumption. I noticed a massive difference in my sleep when I drink versus alcohol or when I don't. The liver needs time to metabolize, which can lead to sleep disruptions. While we may feel like it's easier to sleep because alcohol is a sedative, the same sedation also impairs REM and deep sleep, leaving us with a long night of poor quality light sleep. If you're going to drink in the evening, try to limit the number of drinks and stop at least 4 hours before bedtime to allow your body to process the alcohol. Don't use an alarm clock to wake up. If you need an alarm clock, you're not getting enough sleep. Make your bedtime earlier so you can wake up naturally with a full night's sleep, even if a situation requires you to wake up abnormally early. It's difficult for most people with good sleep habits to oversleep. Do pranayama in bed before going to sleep. For some people, meditation can help at night. However, I find pranayama much more effective. I don't meditate before going to sleep. I like to do it in the morning when I am alert. I don't want to train my body to feel sleepy when I do a meditation practice, but this is my personal preference. Pranayama, however, is a great tool to prepare the mind and body for good night's sleep. Most of us struggle to fall asleep or stay asleep because we haven't let go of the day. We are still thinking about stresses and worries or about what we need to do the next day. Even if we limit alcohol and caffeine and do all the other things listed above to help improve our sleep, we have to quiet our minds and calm our emotions to enjoy a restful night. The breath can clear the mind, bring us back to the present moment, and release stress. The practices in this sequence help suppress the sympathetic nervous system and decrease stress hormones while increasing parasympathetic tone to promote rest and deep sleep. As you move through the sequence, if at any time you feel like lying down and falling asleep, it is okay to stop. After completing the breath sequence, you can continue doing the cool down breath until you drift off, or you can release the practice entirely. If it takes you longer than 20 minutes to fall asleep, try getting up and doing something relaxing for a little bit. Lying in bed trying to sleep can feel like torture. You could also take a cool shower and then repeat the practice. Cool showers are my go-to when I'm really struggling. Lowering your body temperature promotes sleep. If it takes you longer than 30 minutes to fall asleep, it's a sign you are not getting enough and that you already have a sleep deficit. In the morning, look at the list presented earlier and see if there is anything you can change to help you relax and reclaim your sleep. Warm-up. Warm-up begins in a comfortable seated position, preferably where you intend to sleep. Take a few moments to feel the natural rhythm of your breath. This practice uses a variation of Samavitri, an easier method of box breathing that skips the more challenging outer retention and promotes a state of relaxation by stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system and slowing increasing carbon dioxide levels. Start with a 5-second inhale, a 5-second retention, and a 5-second exhale, then gradually lengthen the duration of each part of the breath to ease into the practice. As in other similar practices, you only want to inhale to about a third of your vital capacity. With each breath cycle, add 1 second to the 3-part equal breath ratio and deepen the inhale until you reach a 30-second breath cycle of 10 to 10 to 10. Example, 5 to 5 to 5, 6 to 6 to 6, 7 to 7 to 7. When you reach the 10-second ratio, fill your lungs about 2/3 of your full breath or to the point right before it feels effortless to continue inhaling. This rhythmic, repetitive, sequential breath counting gives the mind a task to free it from other thoughts that might keep you awake. Counting the breath during pranayama is similar to using the breath as a meditative object. It keeps you present so your mind is not drawn to the thoughts and stories that occupy it. The practice should feel relaxing. If you find the last few cycles a challenge, you can adjust the count to start lower and lengthen it to your comfort level. Heat building. This component combines a few breathing techniques to support the intent of balancing the mind, increasing nitric oxide to induce sleep, promote relaxation, and cultivate calming tamasic energy. Nadi Shodhana Pranayama acts like an energetic twist for the mind, creating a balance between the right and left hemispheres of the brain while neutralizing our thoughts. To create tamasic energy and stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, use a 1 to 2 breath ratio. I suggest a 6-second inhalation and a 12-second exhalation. If that ratio feels like a challenge, however, try 5 to 10 or 4 to 8. Because you want it to remain fairly effortless, you don't need to extend the duration of the breath by too much. You also add the Baharami Pranayama to the exhalation to increase nitric oxide levels. Nitric oxide improves sleep quality and duration and promotes REM and deep sleep, which are necessary for brain function and memory consolidation. Starting the breath practice with a 6-second inhalation through the right nostril while closing off the left nostril. Then switch, closing off the right and exhaling out the left for 12 seconds while making the sound om or a nasal humming sound. Continue this breath with a 6-second inhale through the right nostril and a 12-second Baharami exhale on the left nostril. When you finish the exhalation on the left side, you have completed one cycle. After 5 cycles, move on to the vitalizing component, which uses a breath ratio with a longer exhalation that is equal to the combined duration of the inhale and inner retention to foster calming tamasic energy while promoting a sense of balanced sattvic energy. As you come into this part of the breath practice, I suggest lying on your back and resting your hands on your belly and chest or alongside your body. Inhale equally into your chest and abdomen for 4 seconds so that both expand at the same rate. Breathe as deeply as feels comfortable. Hold your breath for 6 seconds, then take a slow, controlled 10-second exhale. Repeat this breath for about 5 minutes. If you feel you want to let go, feel free to release this practice and move into the cool down, which returns you to your natural, effortless breath. Release all control of your breathing and let your body take over. Feel the cadence that the breath creates, its natural rhythm. You may spend a few moments observing the sensations of the breath or release your mind completely. Scan your body starting at the head. Systematically relax each body part. It helps to gently engage the muscles in the area of focus before releasing them. Start by relaxing your face and jaw, then relax the shoulders and upper and lower arms. Release the hands, the chest, and soften your belly. Relax your legs and feet. Do a quick body scan to see if you still hold on to anything. You may remain on your back or slowly move into a more comfortable sleeping position.